Ladies and gentlemen, this is a very interesting development. Former federal prosecutor representing Trump in talks with DOJ. So, a former federal prosecutor with multiple Trump world clients is now representing the former president in talks with the Justice Department. That's the person representing Trump is not the real issue. The real issue is that he's talking to the Justice Department, which he probably has been for a long time. But it's being reported as the walls are closing in and they're trying to indict Trump. Trump turns to lawyer on ban losing case for DOJ talk. And this is probably bad for the former president. Vanity fair. Well, I mean, you have to take this with a grain of salt because he's always one step close to being sent to prison for, some crime. We don't know what crime, but some crime, something. I think that he's speaking to the DOJ or the Department of Justice is negotiating or either trying to see what Trump's defense will be when it comes to an indictment, God forbid. If they indict Trump, it will not be because of a crime. Here's the thing that I want my viewers to understand. There's a possibility that he gets indicted. I'm not saying that he will, because he did not commit a crime. Hunter did. Hillary did. Democrats do commit crimes. Top secret intelligence on private servers. You don't need anyone to accuse you of something based on hearsay and gossip. That is a criminal act. To transfer or migrate or remove classified data from secure government locations onto servers running outside of the United States government is a criminal act. Okay? But Comey went to bat, and we know that history. Hunter, clear violations of the law. You'd have to read his emails. Literally just promising favors within those emails and then being asked by a company, by a corporation, oil and gas corporation, how can you use your influence on the company's behalf? And then that company receiving the influence they're asking for, with Joe forcing out a prosecutor. Okay, and the timeline, they say, the timeline, you don't need the same timeline. All you need is an understanding that is documented, which is the understanding of, hey, you know what, we'll give you money, and you use your influence on the company's behalf. But see, again, there's 150 financial transactions deemed suspicious by banks, according to CBS, the New York Post, Daily Mail, National Review, Wall Street Journal, all reported on Hunter's emails. I mean, I'm using public record. With Trump, they don't have anything on him. But the fact that his lawyers are speaking to the DOJ, it is a possibility. It is a possibility that because Democrats cannot win without indicting him, they're not going to win the Senate because you look at the economy. We're in a recession now. So if you're voting for poverty, we have poverty at like 14 to 15%. It was at 10.5% under Trump in 2019. We had record highs in household median income in 2019 with record lows in poverty. And if you're talking about his last year in office, you're an imbecile because it wasn't his policies that caused the dramatic decline in economic activity. It was Democrats who gleefully and in the most apoplectic manner shut down all of American life because of you know what that now people just live with. And they could have lived with it back then too. But the hysterical reaction was, it's all Trump's fault. More people lost their lives under the first year of Biden, mashed potato brains. But again, it was never a federal issue then. But of course, it was Trump actually individually giving people, you know what. Okay, now they're focusing on his toilet and him flushing things down the toilet. Look, there is a possibility. Now, you have the Durham probe special counsel, the October trial. He'll get a conviction on one of the 5 counts. You have midterms. Republicans are going to take the House and the Senate. The economy is going to continue to tank much worse than what we've seen. And if you don't believe me, and I've been predicting this in September of 2021, Michael Burry, Nouriel Roubini have been predicting it long before I have, and they're infinitely more intelligent, knowledgeable about all of this than I am. But subscribe to my Stock Market Crash channel, and subscribe to my Nuclear Confrontation channel. I have the segments on the Stock Market Crash channel, on this channel, within the playlist. Watch the playlist below where I predict in September and October. To read my writing in The Hill, The Huffington Post, Salon, The Jerusalem Post, The Federalist, go to hagoodman.com. You could see my Federalist article in October predicting that Democrats would get us into a stock market crash, which they did. Biden's policies single-handedly caused all of this, in addition to the policies of Democrats prior to him. So Biden came in, he wanted to save the planet, then he got sued by oil and gas associations in 14 states, then he reversed course, getting sued now by environmental groups, and he's flooding strategic petroleum reserves. We are at a lowest point in terms of strategic petroleum reserves in decades. And so it's done the country no good. The momentary drop in gas and oil prices, WTI, that is a very bizarre situation because demand has far outpaced supply, even in a recession. Because refining capacity is almost at 100%, and there's a tight oil market everywhere. Or the supply for oil is tight everywhere. So you have OPEC countries; they're not increasing supply. In fact, they're making it more expensive. So, and you've had the ban from Russian oil. So it's like, where is the supply coming from to meet the demand that's still outpaced the supply, even in a downturn, economic downturn? Okay, because you have global issues like China and other countries that need oil. So it makes no sense. It makes no sense at all. Then you have the geopolitical crisis of Taiwan potentially being blockaded or invaded any time now. And you have, of course, the geopolitical nightmare in Europe with, that took place under Democrats in office. So this whole thing where, oh my God, Vladimir is so afraid of Joe. It's like, no, he's not. Joe Biden waived Nord Stream 2 sanctions. Why? We don't know. But you'd have to know a little something about politics or foreign policy. If you know nothing about foreign policy or politics, you'd think that Trump was installed by the Kremlin and that he was compromised, and Democrats were the good, just, moral, vanguards of democracy and the cold warriors. Like, no. The actual opposite is. You have walking national security risks in Hunter, and Hillary's servers were an abomination. But I want it, by the way, I want a Hillary Clinton, Donald Trump 2024. We need that. We have to have that. Okay, but anyway, the point, ladies and gentlemen, is he's speaking to the DOJ, and I want my viewers to understand that there is a possibility that because Democrats have nothing in terms of accomplishment, they say the bill that's supposed to, the Inflation Reduction Act, nobody cares about that because it's hilarious. You don't pump money to lower inflation. This is like a basic economic concept. If the economy was to grow from that, maybe there's an argument to be made. But the Wharton School of Business, others have stated it's not even going to reduce inflation, and it will not grow the economy. So not like the Build Back Better was going to decrease economic activity. So you have to understand, they just want a bucket list before they get booted out of office. They just want a bucket list. Nobody sees the Inflation Reduction Act and says, oh, it's going to reduce inflation. Inflation's going to go way up, way back up. Just like I said we'd be in a recession and we'd have a market crash this year, it's going to get much worse, ladies and gentlemen, much worse. The policies of Democrats are anti-business, anti-fossil fuel. If you want to protect the planet, fine. That's great. Make sure you don't tank the economy also, and then flood strategic petroleum reserves, and then sell oil to other countries, especially your geopolitical rival in China. So just like Biden waived Nord Stream 2 sanctions, allowing oil and gas to be pumped from Russia to Germany, or gas, he sold oil to China, okay, from the strategic petroleum reserves. Then they say, well, it's just a commodity. It's just a commodity. Well, then why are you banning oil from Moscow if it's just a commodity? So they're all over the place. Democrats twist themselves into pretzels trying to defend the indefensible. But anyway, he didn't commit a crime. He didn't tell people, organize any criminal activity. It was a terrible day where things got out of hand. And he shouldn't have had that day there. But see, things got out of hand. You have to understand, if he, and the entire summer, that summer was just chaotic and $1 to $2 billion in property damage. I agree with the cause of why people demonstrated. But how you can differentiate or delineate between that summer and one day in January, that shows immense hypocrisy. Immense hypocrisy. Okay? 14,000 arrests, $1 to $2 billion in property damage, 19 lives lost, and Liz Cheney and Kinzinger and others and Democrats are okay with that? Even if the cause was important, there's no cause. Like, yes, the initial cause is a noble cause, but there's no cause noble enough, or there's no cause worth all that criminal behavior and chaos. And then you focus on one day, democracy. It's like, well, what happened to democracy all that summer? And so they've obsessed, politics has become an extension of liberal sensibilities. And they've done away with the concept of God or religion. It's now their religion, their God is CNN, MSNBC, the Washington Post, the New York Times, what they think Trump represents. Not the record highs in household median income in 2019 and record low in poverty. Give me your thoughts below. Hit subscribe right now. I should have a live stream tonight. I'm not sure. But they're looking for a way to indict Trump. I don't know if they will. The thing is, if they don't indict him, I don't think they stand a chance against Trump. So that's the thing. He'll win any court trial because he didn't commit a crime. If he did, they would have indicted him a long time ago. Give me your